Hey everyone, this is Helena, and I'm so excited to be talking with Eva Medilek again today. She is a relationship style success coach who helps highly driven, ambitious women really use that drive to foster and maintain the kind of intimacy and connection they want in their relationships. She's just a total expert in that topic, and I'm so excited to have her join us all here today. So welcome, Eva. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks, Helena. I'm excited to be here and to serve your women and your audience. So this is going to be great.
I'm excited too. I'm just making sure everything's working. Hi, Katharina. I'm assuming everything's fine. If anything goes weird with the video or the audio, just let us know in the chat. The topic today, oh, Katharina is asking about the topic. Thank you so much. I forgot to say that at the beginning. The topic today is, what is your relationship style? And that's an acronym, S.T.Y.L.E. So we're going to be going over 5 different relationship styles that were impressed upon us in childhood and how that actually impacts our connection and response to a man. And Eva, I hope I said that correctly. You are the total expert at this topic.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, we are impressed in childhood with different types of experiences that actually form the way that we relate in adulthood. And so it's important to recognize what those styles are and how they can negatively impact our connection and our relationships. So you hit it spot on, lady.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've really been wanting to do a topic just like this on my channel. Let me just say hi to everyone quickly. By the way, Eva, every time I look at my phone, I'm just checking the comments. I forgot to tell you.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm not checking my Facebook or anything. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining. Kendra, Lynn, Britt, Christy. Oh, Matt Schaefer's watching. He
Hey,
said
Matt.
yeah. Oh, do you know Matt too?
I know
Matt,
that.
Matt's an awesome coach. I'm gonna definitely get him on my channel as soon as I get back from vacation. Joy says I may need to pull over and take notes. The replay will be posted right after this, so we'll definitely jump into these five relationship styles. We have about 30 minutes, and if you guys have questions about any of these or comments, feel free to type them into the chat and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. So Eva, before we jump in, is there anything you want to say about these 5 relationship styles before we get started?
Yeah, I actually do. I just wanted to impress upon you guys the importance of identifying your relationship style, because in childhood, it will help us overcome how I should say, the problems we have in our relationships in our adult lives, because each of these styles grows out of a reaction to anxiety in childhood. So I've created an acronym, since I'm a relationship style success coach, with the 5 styles, S.T.Y.L.E. And I can just briefly review what they are with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, let's do an overview.
So the S in style is seeking to please. The T, trying to control. The Y is yo-yoing back and forth between passion and disappointment. That's an interesting one. And L is looking to accept the blame and be a victim in a relationship. And E is the evader, always kind of running away and not wanting to deal. And so I can go into each of these just a little bit deeper and what the traits are, and for your audience, and they can see which one they most resonate with.
I love it. Yeah, as soon as you said all of them, my brain started going, okay, which one am I? So I can't wait to hear all of these. And by the way, Eva, I just want to mention this. I know we're going to talk about this at the end. She's putting on a free summit for all of you guys called Closing the Intimacy Gap, with a bunch of experts. I'm a part of it. So we're going to get, she's going to give out interviews from all the experts and free gifts. Totally free for all of you guys. So that link is in the description right now for anyone who has to go early and just, want to go sign up for that. We encourage everyone to do that, but we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. So let's jump into the first one, Eva, S.
Okay, so S is seeking to please. And basically, that is a result of having an overly critical parent, or an angry parent. And so what the child ends up doing is attempts to be good, to get approval from the parent, or to avoid upsetting the parent or inducing anger and disappointment in the parent. So one of the common traits is worry. You try to avoid criticism. You worry about making mistakes. You have anxiety is another trait. You feel anxious or rejected if your partner wants time alone, and you start to worry, did I do something wrong? Why don't they want to be with me? And so it creates that kind of anxiety that's usually stemmed from experiences you had in childhood. you kind of depend on praise and encouragement in a relationship, and you feel something's wrong if you're not constantly edified or praised or encouraged. Yes, you did that right. You fear rejection, and you sometimes have difficulty making decisions because you have this fear of making a mistake and possibly upsetting your partner and causing some discord. So seeking to please others is really a way to kind of soothe deep anxiety inside you. So you really want others to be happy, and that makes you happy. So if you want, we can pause. And if anybody has any questions on that particular one, if you want to go straight through, I'm not sure.
I think that's great. Can you guys resonate with this? I know I certainly can. I think, maybe about 10 or so years ago, I actually have a question, Eva. Can people start out as one and maybe shift to another as they do some work on themselves? Or is this impressed upon you and this is kind of your style throughout your lifetime?
Well, it's important to recognize. And once you are aware, you can intentionally create a shift to know that this is why you're like this. And the other thing that comes to mind is if you have a partner with a relationship style that is completely opposite of yours, which is the case 99,000% of the time, you get to have compassion and know that when you peel back the layers, it's deep rooted in some childhood anxiety that they don't know how to shift or switch off, or that's why they're like that. And so I think creating awareness around it. Now, you may find as I go through all of them that you will resonate with more than one. So you'll have a tendency to do this in this situation or be this way in another situation. And that's okay too. It's just creating awareness around it. It's no need to beat up yourself, no need to beat up your parents. Everybody's parents did the best they could with what they had. And so you just get to recognize. I'll give you a good example. Most little boys grow up hearing men don't cry. Boys don't cry. And either from their dads or from a male authority figure, they're really told to kind of suck it up, don't cry. It's a sign of weakness. So in their adult lives, we find a lot of adult men, and I'm sure a lot of women in our audience are with adult men that have trouble being vulnerable, showing vulnerability, may seem emotionally disconnected, and they're perceived as being cold-hearted and not having emotion. That's because every time they showed emotion as a child, they were shut down. And so once you understand that, you'll have a tendency to have more compassion to the men in your life that experienced a childhood like that, and be more forgiving, and just work with the awareness. And, as we spoke before, I know you and I had the opportunity to chat before, to really ask for what you need in a relationship. And know that it's not their intention to emotionally shut down. They just don't know any other way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For those of you who didn't see, even I actually just posted it this week, I believe, or last week.
Yes.
We did a video on how to powerfully ask for what you want and restore the intimacy and connection in your relationship. I can post a link to that later if you guys want to check that out. In the comment section of that video, there were so many people, if I remember correctly, who resonated with this people pleaser. And it sounds like people here too. Lavonda says, my mother was never satisfied and criticized everything about me, everything I did. I'm the most anxious person. I seek to please and need reassurance constantly. I'm newly single. Yeah, really common situation. Katharina says, if this is my relationship style, is it worth changing? And if yes, what is recommended so I can be successful? How much can someone shift out of some of these tendencies, Eva? I mean, do you have anything to say on that?
It's really intentional. And like I said, to recognize this is what you're doing, and it's why you're doing it. It has nothing to do with your partner. It really has to do with what's going on in you. And just know that you don't need to seek to please your partner in your adult relationship like you did your parents. You get to really find your authentic self and start to relax and be comfortable in your own skin. Now, depending upon how deep your anxiety is, there may be some things that actual therapy can help. But I always say working with a coach when these feelings come up, and I still work with my coaches when some of my traits come up, and you're not always recognizing that that's a part of the trait, but to have someone that you trust who can really call you out and call you forth and say, this is how you're being. This is what I see. This is what I see. This is my experience of you right now in this moment, in your reaction to your relationship. And you know what? He just may need to go to have a beer with friends, and it has nothing to do with him being not satisfied with you. Just relax. And sometimes just having someone else make you aware, you can shift out of it. And it's like, okay, I'm cool. Let me go out with my girlfriends. Let me get a manicure. Whatever the situation is, it really helps to have some accountability in that space.
It really, yeah. And I'm like laughing over here. Yeah, yeah. I had that happen this last week. Yeah, one of my best friends, who's an amazing coach, gives awesome advice, totally called me out on something. I'm like, oh, wow, I really appreciate that feedback, because I didn't even realize. Angelic Sparkle says, hi, I saw a video with both of you, like the examples. Hope you keep making videos together. Awesome. There was one other question. Rochelle says, what if my relationship style requires plenty of personal space on my part? Is that normal? What category would that, or which style would that fall into, Eva? Or does that?
With them all, and I think you'll have more of your viewers actually recognize themselves, because
Perfect.
yeah, we'll go into T next, because we just did S, and I know we have a limited amount of time, so I want to get to all of them so everybody can really like say, oh, that's me. So T is trying to control the situation, and basically in childhood, you had to hide your fears in childhood by fighting back. And usually people that have this kind of need to control every situation in a relationship came from some kind of turmoil in the home. Maybe there was some kind of abuse, whether it was physical, emotional, verbal, mental abuse. And they hide their fears by fighting back, by getting defensive, by needing to control the situation. And as a child, you don't know how to react in a kind of tumultuous, chaotic home, because you never know when a parent or a family member may blow up. And so as a child, you're living in this anxiety. And so common traits of growing up in this type of environment and learning, and not having that, what do I want to say, that comfort in the home. It's more a kind of a walking on eggshells type of thing. You have a lot of anger, a lot of blame, some jealousy. You may not want your partner to talk to other people. It creates some anger in you, some aggression and possessiveness. So just really quickly, there's so much more that can go into this and so much deeper, but I want to get to all of them so that your audience can really just see what all the different styles are. And sometimes you may think one is you, and then you may see another one like, oh no, that's more me, but I have just a little bit of that one. So unless you need me to stop and answer a question right away, I'm going to keep going. Is that okay?
I think that's great. I mean, I think I almost see myself in all of these a little bit, so this is like really, I love this information, Eva. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Lavonda says, wow, that explains a lot. Wonderfully Made says, if you recognize some of those traits in your partner, what's an effective way to address it without trying to fix or control the problem? That might go into this category, right? With the control. Eva, anything you have to say quickly on that before we move on?
That is such a big question. And I always find that your response is the best way to deal with a partner that has this problem. Now, of course, if you are in danger from being in a controlling relationship and you have some fear around your safety, I would definitely say the first thing would be to seek help, to seek professional help, either from a therapist or get to a place where you can feel safe, and then get in therapy together. So, we are coaches. I am a coach. I'll speak for myself. I'm not a therapist. So if at any time you feel you are in danger, seek help. One of the speakers that is on my series that you talked about earlier, Helena, is actually an expert in that space. And so this is a good series to watch, because she actually gives all of what you should do if you feel that you or your children or whatever are in danger in a situation like that. And so you get all the answers to that. However, when you have a partner that is just controlling and insecure and gets angry because of that fear placed in them from childhood, the best thing I like to say is to control your response, because a lot of us react. We get triggered by someone else's anger, and then we get angry, and then you get the fight and the blow up. And I would be curious and ask questions about the childhood, ask questions about how they grew up, what the home life situation was, if they hid that from you, or if you already know for a fact what went on in the home, and just start peeling that back and come from a place of compassion in your response and in your reactions is the short story to that. Does that help?
Perfect. I thought that was a phenomenal answer. Yeah, Kathy says this is so on point. What's the title of this so I can come back? She has to go back to work now. Yeah, how your relationship style impacts your connection with a man. So yeah, great. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, so the yo-yo, the Y in style, it's kind of a push-pull. You go back and forth between passion and disappointment, passion and disappointment. And what the yo-yo relationship style is really craving is a secure connection. And they've experienced some hurt and abandonment in childhood, some abandonment of emotion. Maybe one parent was detached and they did everything they could to get their attention, maybe held it for a short time, was high, and then felt abandoned again. And so you have that fear. It's a little bit of a fear of abandonment, but you're just craving that parent to pay attention to you. Maybe you grew up in a household where your parents had to work all the time, or maybe work more than one job, and you felt ignored or neglected. And you always do things to get their attention and have them emotionally connect with you, hug you, all of that. And then they detach again. And so this style loves the romanticism in a relationship. They love that passion in the beginning. They love the butterflies and the love and all of that feeling in the beginning. And then when reality sets in and the relationship gets older, they start to feel disappointed because they always want to keep that initial passion and the hotness and all of that up. And what really sets in is because of their disappointment, they get some anger. They tend to focus on the hurt and disappointment. And so they push you away, but yet they really want you to come towards them. So your partner ends up confused and not knowing, like, okay, she's angry, so maybe I'll just go away. And the yo-yo relationship style is like, see, I knew you couldn't stay around, and it's just like, and it comes from that constant disappointment in childhood. And so you subconsciously do that with your partner as well. So you focus on the hurt and disappointment while craving that connection. So you see, it's kind of a push-pull kind of yo-yo thing.
Yeah, almost like eliciting. I mean, do I have this right? You're almost like eliciting things that would make you feel disappointed, right?
Yeah,
If you're at that yo-yo place.
actually, that's a comfortable place for you because you had that in childhood. And it kind of goes back to being comfortable in the hurt and in the disappointment. So some common traits of this style, I just want to get through that. You feel like no one understands you. Your relationships have a really passionate beginning. You have high expectations. And you can sense when your partner starts to pull back. But you keep a running tab on the amount of hurt. I'm sure this style can name every time. Remember when you did this and you did this and I was hurt and and I was disappointed and you were supposed to do this and you didn't. So you keep a running tab in this particular style.
Wow. Yeah, I think probably a lot of people can relate to that one. I'm like, I haven't really heard anyone. Is that you? You're pointing at yourself.
Yeah, this is the one that really, ding, 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 kind of.
Yeah. People in the chat are saying that's so me. The yo-yo. Matt said people love to be proved right about their wounds, stories about relationship. Oh yeah, isn't that the truth? Alexandra says, I finally found a professional therapist who's addressing my childhood issues with an angry and controlling father. Yeah, so yeah, this one's definitely resonating with everyone. What's the next one?
Okay, so the next one is L, and that's looking to blame themselves. This is the victim mentality, and it, not to be confused with any of the personality tests like the Myers-Briggs or Matrix test or anything like that. This kind of victim actually grew up in a similar home as the trying to control, the controller part, because it was a turmoil in the home. And so they were a victim, so to speak. And they're always trying to make the peace and always thinking, well, if I'm just good, things will be better. And they're always trying to fix things and be better and just kind of take the blame for everything. Well, if I did this right, my partner wouldn't be angry or my relationship would be better. So they look to blame themselves for everything. And it's really a response to the fear and anxiety that they had in childhood. And they usually had quite of an overwhelming parent that caused a deep anxiety. They want to keep peace in the home. They want to reduce the turmoil that's in the home. And everything is their fault because they're either bad or unlovable. So they really take this victim mentality to the next stage. So traits of the looking to accept blame is they have fear of being alone. So it's more of the dependent style. So they'll take the blame for everything just so that their partner doesn't leave or doesn't want to leave because they have this fear of being alone. They hide information from their partners so they don't induce anger. So they're trying to protect and keep the anger low. They have a low self-esteem. They're usually low self-esteem, usually a little bit nervous and anxious, and sometimes may suffer from depression and anxiety with this type of victim mentality.
Yeah, wow. So this is so powerful. Yeah, a lot of times I can feel like, and I hear this a lot from clients, when something's not going right in their relationship or just in their love life, first person they want to blame is themselves. It's a very specific type. How does this differ from someone who's seeking to please? Like, what's the distinction there?
Well, the distinction there is when you're seeking to please, you almost have an unnatural, I want to say, you're smothering your partner. You're smothering with love and attention and affection, and you get nervous that if somebody is leaving you, they may not come back. And that's a little bit different than coming from a place of deep anxiety or fear that someone's going to get angry.
Got it.
And
okay.
So that kind of turmoil in the home, you have the fear of the anger and the outburst. So you take that victim mode. And that's when you grow up in that kind of turmoil in your household. Seeking to please, you usually just have a highly critical parent. There may not be abuse, but they're just critical. Like, you brought home a B, it should have been an A. And it's like, whatever I do is not enough. And I just want to please and make you happy. So
okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like people can relate to, I mean, all of these, oh my gosh, that's so me. I'm this style. I'm the yo-yo style. Oh no, this is me too. Massive turmoil, an overwhelming mom. Everything was blamed on me. I take the blame and no self-esteem. I want to change this so much. Someone else said, yes, I'm guilty of smothering with too much affection. So I can totally relate. This was more my father, very overwhelming and critical father. Destiny says, so powerful. This is all true. Deanna asked a great question. Can you have several of these? I feel like I'm different ones at different times.
Yes, you will recognize kind of a blending of styles. It's not uncommon. So yes, you can, but you usually have a predominant one.
Okay, yeah, this is really great information, Eva. Totally resonating with everyone. So what is that last
one? This is one of my favorites too, and favorite in a way that I can really recognize this in other people and in sometimes myself. This is E, the evader. Want to avoid conflict, want to run away from connection and emotion. I guess in relationship and dating, you always have those people who have fear of commitment and really just take their time with things. The evader, in their childhood, they lacked comfort and nurturing. So they tended to disconnect. They had to be independent. So they did not have true emotional connection in the home. So they don't even know how to connect. They were maybe ignored. They were taught to kind of just go along, go with the flow, avoid conflict, avoid confrontation. So they got to ignore their feelings and really deny their emotions and their feelings, not only in themselves, but they tend to deny others' feelings too and not want to deal. I don't know if you've ever met anybody who just, my father was like that. If you got emotional, he just couldn't deal with it. Just couldn't deal with it. Had to run away. Couldn't stand to see his daughter cry. Either taught me not to cry, which was suppressing my emotions, or he ran away from it. So you had emotionally unavailable parents. They couldn't deal. So you had to take care of yourself. So there was no true bonding in the home. And so some of these traits, I have some of them down. You tend to be independent. You have minimal emotional needs for yourself. You show little affection. And you're uncomfortable around emotional people. You rarely cry, and you like to avoid confrontation. So who out there can relate to this particular one?
I think this one might be me the most out of all of them. Even in our last interview, you said about an evader, and I'm just like, whatever that is, that sounds like me. Someone asked at the beginning of our live stream, you know, if she needs a lot of personal space, would that fit into this category?
It depends on why you need the space. Are you hiding from something, or do you just need that for self-care and self-love? So I would say that depends on why do you need the space? I mean, we all get to have our personal space, and we all need it. I need it to clear my head, to meditate, to really get myself set with my intention. But am I running from, what am I avoiding if I just need if that's an excuse, like I need my space? And yes, we all get to hold space for each other in one area of another. But, you know, one point we've got to face and not hide from it and not avoid it. And that's the best way to deal with all of these styles, because these are the styles that are sabotaging true connection and intimacy in our relationships.
I totally agree. Yeah. And for me, it was almost like reconnecting with that, with actual having emotions and emotional needs and all of that. It's, yeah, this is so powerful. Someone said, isn't it mind blowing how our childhood affects adult relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Christy says, this one resonates most with me. Kathy says, my ex-boyfriend reminds me of that style. It's mind blowing and internally frustrating. I desire a healthy relationship with myself. It's difficult. Lavonda says, wow, the evader sounds like my ex-husband. Wish I'd known this before. Yeah. So Eva, do you have any advice for women who are like, yes, this is my style, or these ones sound like me, you know, kind of shifting more towards, I don't know how to explain it, more of like an integrated style where you don't like rush to these default tendencies or push love away.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you have to say on that?
Well, I still always come back to compassion. Know the source. Start digging in your childhood and coming up with memories. I mean, every time I do this work with other people, I have another memory or flashback to my childhood or an incident where I felt the hurt and where I shut down and maybe put a wall up in my heart so that I wouldn't feel the hurt. And you get to love yourself. It's okay. It's the young you that did not know any better. And neither did your parents. I want to say, in defense of all the parents out there, except for the abusers, because yes, even though they didn't know any better, they did not seek help. If they continue to do it, just know that you get to recognize, you get to love yourself, and you get to have accountability. Just do the work. Just know where it came from, and know that you do get to shift. Okay, it's almost like saying, oh, I know why I'm doing that. And then you run towards and not away. And I say it out loud. I know how I'm being, and I know why I'm being that way. And I ask for forgiveness and compassion and understanding from my husband when I get in that space. And, you know, and I open up to him, you know, I'm probably like this because of, and I'll share that childhood memory with him. And then we just get to really understand each other. The other thing I wanted to mention, I have a list of words. A lot of us did not grow up with knowing how to express these feelings or emotions because they were suppressed. So we don't know the words to say them. And so I have a list of words that express all kinds of different emotions when I'm working with some of my clients, to just help them look on the list if they don't even know how to say what they feel. I mean, a lot of times I hear, I'm confused. I don't know how to feel. I don't have the words for it. And so there are some words that you can just look at and find an emotion that fits best for you.
I think that is great. And oh, hello, Adrian. All of these amazing coaches are watching. Eva, this is so much fun. What are the ways to love each of these styles if you find that your partner is one of these or several of these? Kind of the other side of it, you know,
Yeah.
where like the awareness in ourselves is great. I always say that's like the first step to turning everything around. Mm-hmm. What if, you know, for everyone watching, they're like finding these signs in their partner or maybe the men they're attracting if they're single? Is there a way to address it, or what would you suggest a woman do?
Curiosity. Ask. And, you know, I discovered a style of my husband. We were just out on a hike walking, and some reason I intuitively asked him about his childhood or about certain things, because there are a lot of people that think they have the perfect childhood. And then you start digging and digging and digging, and something happened where they were shut down, or where they had high achieving parents and they were the disappointing child. Or they were the, you know, there's also the older sibling, middle sibling, younger sibling. dynamic in the family. And I would just say, be curious, ask questions, see if you can find out why your man shuts down, or why your man has trouble showing emotion, or why your man runs away every time things get hard or difficult. They have to leave and they won't stay in it with you, because women are always in their feelings. Yeah, because they can't deal with it. And just get curious, like, how was it growing up? I mean, were you hugged? What happened when you're sad? Were you allowed to cry? And just get to learn about your partner, both sides, whether men are listening and their female partner is like this, or vice versa, and get curious and see if you can find out why. And that'll give you more of a heart for patience and understanding with your partner. And sometimes it takes a third party, a coach or a therapist, to actually help people shift out of that, because they're not going to want to hear it from us, right? We're too close to the situation. But just things that they get to work on.
I love it. Yeah, so helpful, Eva. And then I love everyone's like typing in the typing on all the different styles. But for everyone watching like the replay of this after it gets posted, can you recap those 5 styles? Then we'll talk about your free summit after that.
Okay, so you've got the seeking to please, trying to control, S.T.Y.L.E, I got to spell it out. Y, the yo-yo between passion and disappointment. L, looking to accept blame in every situation. And E is the evader.
So great. I'm just going through these last comments. Oh, hi, Anya. Anya's watching too. Anya's the one that connected us. So she's the reason why we're even here today. Thank you so much. Sharon says, I finally walked away from a roller coaster relationship. I'm mentally exhausted. However, I'm learning a lot listening to you too. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad this was helpful. Karina says, if I'm smothering, seeking to please, and over communicative with an avoidant, emotionally detached, and under communicative man, what are the chances of this working out? Oh, Eva, I'd love to hear that.
What are the chances? Well, the chances of it working out is if you both want it to work and you're both willing to do the work to recognize what's going on inside yourselves and make the changes.
I totally,
you both have to be wanting to do it. And
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it can't be one-sided. You just pushing and pushing, right? If anyone who's ever tried that, you know it doesn't work, right? Let's see. If your partner is the evader and seems to avoid or get annoyed by questions, what would you suggest? Ooh, great question, Kathy. Anything there, Eva?
I would ask them why I can't ask questions. I just want to get to know you better, and know what's underneath, and because it helps me know how to please you.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Thank you all so much. Love your videos. Oh, you're welcome, Christy. Thank you so much for watching. Someone said my man's a style E. I'm curious now. I will ask about his childhood. Awesome. This has been so amazing. I'm learning some very crucial things that will benefit me. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're welcome, you guys. This was so awesome. And Eva, let's talk about your free summit. This was an amazing thing that I was a part of, and it's she's offering it for free for right now. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So my summit is called Closing the Intimacy Gap: How to Restore and Maintain the Passion, Connection, and Put the Fun Back in Your Relationship. Guys, relationships should be fun. And when we're so focused on what we're doing and doing the right thing and doing, it really just actually has you exhale and get more in the being and how you are being in relationship to really create that intimacy and connection. It launches on January 16th. It is a video series, and I'll be releasing a video per day starting January 16th. I've got 24 amazing speakers, and I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and I'm really hoping everyone learns a lot from it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Our interview that we did was so great. I can't wait to see all of the interviews. And the one I did, I believe was geared for women. Even if you're single and looking to attract the right guy, it will still be helpful for. So this summit will be helpful for you no matter where you're at in your love life.
Yeah, right? I've got dating specialists. I've got matchmaking specialists. I've got people to help you with your relationship with the money, because how often after we get into a relationship do we find money differences and problems pop up? So it's relationships at work, how you can take this to work as well and foster greater connection. And yes, this all helps when you're out there dating and looking for love as well. Just how to connect with people and ask the right questions and just learn, just be curious.
I love it. Yeah. So 24 experts, free videos, free gifts. I imagine they all have free gifts.
Yes, everyone has a free gift to really help you actually up level and take it to the next level so that you have some takeaways and you don't have to remember it all.
Okay, good. Yes, Kathy says, I got to run. She's working right now. She said, but this is so good. When will the recording be available? As soon as we're done, the replay should publish, with a couple minutes after that. So yeah, this will be available later today. So yeah, thank you so much, Eva. Anything else you'd like to add? Any more words of wisdom before we close out today?
Yeah, I would just like to encourage everyone to, my passion is really keeping relationships together. I mean, you get them started, and I want to get them to stick. So like, it's amazing to work with people as wonderful as you. And I would just really, really encourage people that when you come into breakdowns in your relationship, not to give up, to really be curious and to seek and to really work hard. When you see the first signs of communication or a gap widening in your connection, to really, hire a coach, go to a therapist, whatever it takes for you to work on your relationships. Don't give up. When you watch the series, you'll hear me share my story a little bit about what happened in my marriage and the work that we did to get to the other side of our breakdown. And it's really inspiring. It's just closer and better than ever. And we can communicate without hurt feelings. So I would just say, don't give up.
Great. I love that. I love that. Such wise advice, Eva. Thank you so much. So for everyone watching, either whether now or the replay, just click the description, the little arrow down button, and there's the first link in there is Closing the Intimacy Gap, how you can sign up and register for free and get access to all of these great videos and free gifts from all of the different experts, myself included. I will be attending and watching everything. I'm so excited. I believe there's also a link in the comment section as well. So everyone, please go check that out. Thank you so much for watching and contributing. Your comments and questions were so amazing. And Eva, this was obviously so powerful and resonated so much with everyone. I hope we can do another one of these again soon.
Absolutely, because I would love to share with your audience at one point how mismatched styles can work together. That'll be a fun one too.
Oh my God. Yes, we should do like a part 2. Oh my God. Yes, I know everyone is going to totally be, let me see. Oh yeah, people are like, how do I subscribe? Okay, Katharina, click the, you know what? You're going to have to close the live chat if you're on a phone and then open the description. And once you watch the replay, it'll be more obvious. What is Eva's last name? Eva, spell your last name for everybody.
It's Medilek, Medilek.
Okay, and that's
follow me on Facebook and everywhere. I am the relationship style for success.
Yeah, people are saying they're interested in hearing their story. Someone said yes, mismatched style. Okay, let's definitely do one of those soon. Okay, so thank you guys so much, and please check out Eva's free summit. I know I definitely will, and we will hopefully see you guys all again soon. Eva, thank you again.
Thank you, Helena. This was fun. Bye, everybody.